Hola, señoras, señores. Bienvenido a Prickly Pear.
Welcome to the Prickly Pear Show. Yo me llamo Ron Furman.
Nacho man.
Do you have nachos in there?
I want to be a nacho man. Nacho man. I really want one of those nacho hats. Hello, senor.
We have a special guest today. We have Barry H. Samuel today on the show to discuss mental health. We're going to go into it. There's going to be a lot of subjects
Probably
to
gonna
cover.
drive him crazy. That's why.
Sure, yes, definitely you'll drive me crazy. You're already starting to do so.
Yeah,
we don't have an introduction because we're missing a person, so just to let you know, Anthony is not here with us right now.
Feel better, Anthony?
Usually, he's all right. He's all right. He's at the hospital with a friend, so unfortunately he was unable to show up, so this is why we're missing a few things. Today's show is going to be a little bit different because we're going to get a little bit into other topics that have nothing to do with anything. Yeah, I know. I'm going to try and get everything ready for us. Let's see.
I'm just going to be sitting here making faces and hoping for the best.
Well, hopefully you will get involved, in some of the conversation. But listen, at the end of the day, like a lot of topics that we're going to be talking about today affects you in some ways.
One way or another.
And I'm going to be talking about that specifically. So there's a post, for example, that I put on Facebook, which I'm going to be discussing. So hopefully some of you who do watch the show will get an opportunity to hear my side of the story. Because I try to really not get into too many arguments. I know me, but I tried my very best. Nonetheless, this is going to be an amazing show. So let's get started. I'd like to remove my hat. Oh, wait, but before we do,
I want to keep my hat on.
Do you want to do a challenge before we get started?
Well, I want to do the challenges like before and after because I feel we should have.
I don't want to eat spicy food before or after. So why don't we pick now?
Well, that's the challenge then.
Later.
You can eat it before and after.
I'm not interested in that. Although I did buy Tums, so we're good. I have Tums in the car.
Did you take it now?
No, I did not take it.
Okay, well then you're an idiot.
Well, the Tums usually works afterwards. So
Bring it with
welcome
you.
again to the show. Hope you like my poncho. By the way, a very special thank you to Lana and for giving us the hat, and Hannah. Really for supplying us with some of the stuff. And of course, Liana, who bought us amazing tacos from Taco Bell. I don't know if I could say that, really amazing tacos and use the word Taco Bell at the same time.
Taco Bell,
unless it is the...
Taco Bell.
Do you remember? What?
Taco Bell, yo quiero Taco Bell. Taco Bell, yo quiero Taco Bell. Nacho Libre.
Someone's a little bit too excited today. I kind of like it, but I'm not really sure.
I like it too.
Let's see. I'm trying to get our video on so we can watch.
It's the fire sauce that gets me going.
While you're doing this, let me try and get us so we can see the people's views.
Apparently, I'm going to be surrounded by doom and gloom for the rest of the episode. Let me get this energy out one way or another.
It says to start watch party.
Oh no!
But how do I?
Even Facebook doesn't want to talk about that.
But what's happening? Like I want to see the comments. All right, beautiful.
There it is.
All right, let's get started. Let's get started. Let's bring it down a bit.
I'm excited.
I understand, but let's kind of get into
All right,
what we're here
I'll shove
for.
my face with food to shut me up.
Just so you know what. So here's a perfect opportunity. Unfortunately, the other day I lost a very, I could say a dear friend. We could say mental health. We could say drug abuse. We could say what we want. At the end of the day, I think it all comes down to how we feel and why we decide to abuse drugs. I don't think that it has anything to do specifically with the drugs themselves. It's more about how we feel. I don't want to put this person down. She was an amazing girl. Kayla, thinking about you the entire day. I could not stop thinking about you. So I thoughts and prayers to you and your family. It's been hard today, but I'm thinking about you. So I guess that's the most important thing. So love to your family from the Prickly Pear Show. Wanted to give you a little bit of a gift from here. Anyways, I'm going to try and bring us back. So today we're dealing with mental health. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about mental health, and the reason we're talking about mental health, even though we have many shows that do deal with it, is because this is Mental Health Month. So May is Mental Health Month. To be quite honest, before I started to come out and talk about certain issues that I was dealing with, I had no idea what Mental Health Month was, when it was. What day Mental Health Day? By the way, do you know when? I know that you probably know, but do you know when Mental Health Day is? Let's see.
2 days ago?
2 days ago. No.
Today?
No, it is October 10th. Just to let you know the day. However, that's good. Now you know. So knowing is good for you.
Yeah.
So again, May is mental health. So we're going to try and do certain things that relate to mental health throughout the month, even if the topics are not necessarily going to be on that. But we want to dedicate it to a lot of people that are out there who are suffering from whatever it may be, either anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever it is. We're here with you, so we're here to support. At the bottom of the screen, as you can
If
see,
you need help, go reach out to anyone.
that's right. Usually it's just
you
about
always
conversation.
have a friend. You always have a friend no matter what. There's always one person you can call, and they're always going to be there for you. If you need them, you know that. So
And if they're not, then you go to the next person. And
or,
the
or
idea
reach
is,
out to one of us.
absolutely. There you go. Absolutely. I can even give you my phone number if you want it.
Easy peasy,
and
nice
then
and
we
breezy.
can make it happen. Great.
Yeah.
I like how it came off the screen. Hopefully it's going to come back again.
It's
It is what it is.
fine.
So we can't actually
We can-
see anything now
we can
because our
see
screen
down
went off.
there. It's
I
fine.
will not be able to see people
I
talking.
can see it.
Okay, so let's get started with the show. We have the wonderful Barry H. Samuel. The H, I'm guessing, stands for Hussein.
Barry, where is he?
No, what does the H stand for?
Hartley.
Hartley.
Lots of
Okay.
heart.
Okay, all right. Well, it makes a lot of sense.
I like it. Are you related to what's his name? Josh
No.
Hartley?
Hartley is his
That's-
middle name. Samuel is his last name.
You're testing my mental health now.
Oh, well, listen, I'm just trying to figure things out.
No, it's called reading, and it's right there for you. So H is for
I might be. Who
It is
knows?
okay.
Who knows?
I shouldn't dismiss that.
He could have his mother's maiden name, so you never know,
Right. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
his
yeah.
mother could have a brother who has the last name Hartley, right? So shut up.
Okay. I'll do that. So it's better than did you not admit that
He
you
weighs
were-
on my mental health every Sunday.
That is true, and you weigh on mine. So let's get into it. Barry, you do. First off, you reached out to me a while back,
Right.
watching the show. You congratulated, said it's a great thing what you're doing, which I really really appreciated. But then you said, hey, I'd like to be a guest. I'd like to do to come and talk about the various things that I do.
Sure.
And I said, okay, wonderful. Just send me kind of like a little bio or something about the stuff that you do. And then I saw mental health, and clearly it made sense to me. And then I started watching things that you keep posting and the invites and the events. And I realized that you're actually a big advocate for mental health. And so I want to congratulate you for really helping many people out there. And you've been doing is it a run-a-thon? What is it exactly? A walk-a-thon?
It's a family-friendly community walk and run through Sunnybrook Park in Toronto that we've been doing, that I've founded but supported by an incredible team.
Right.
And this will be the 14th year, I'm proud to say.
So May 25th, for those that are interested, by the way, the information right here is at the bottom, right underneath me. You guys can find out all the information with regards to Barry, and if you want to register, you want to donate, you want to participate, all the information is going to be there throughout the
Even
entire
want to
show.
volunteer, actually.
Sure, absolutely. So
Yeah.
tell it to us a little bit. First off, what made you? I mean, clearly seeing people around, maybe you're dealing with something, but like to take initiative like this, and for 14 years to run this let me call it a walkathon, because I'm guessing since it's families, I'm guessing people are not necessarily running.
Right.
Is there another name? Maybe I can
Dogs
give it?
come along.
Dogs
It's a community,
Walk
family-friendly
and run-a-thon, yeah, it's-
walk in the park.
walk in the park.
You know.
Beauties.
Yeah.
So, and it's all for mental health, raising money. Is it going to a specific organization?
CAMH.
Because I'm seeing here CAMH, I'm seeing Inside Out. Why don't you take us on a little ride and tell us a little bit about the story and how everything came about?
Well,
Without putting
yeah.
you on the spot, of course.
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity. And
Absolutely.
it's very boring to be here, I must say, with all of this.
Yeah, we're gonna after.
Thank you for the mental health.
Yeah.
I can leave now. I feel better.
Amazing.
Once we're done this story, we're gonna eat this before it gets cold. I just realized once it's cold, it's
So maybe the challenge should have been at the beginning.
Yeah,
correct?
probably.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
it's okay.
Go ahead.
You do.
Well, I guess I just and I don't want to talk for too long at once, but I will say, to back up a little bit, Ron, with your amazing initiatives, you also have inspired me and the work that you've been doing towards mental health awareness. And I suppose it's got us, it needs to start there,
Right.
with a certain level of awareness. And for me, I just released a video with the help of my friend Anthony over the last week and a half, and you may have seen that. And I shared it with a few people. Well, I didn't share it with a few people. It's public. You can see it.
Right.
And it was one brave step for me, because I've never really put myself that much out there in terms of my personal experience. So I feel like I'm having a bit of a moment in a way, like to say that, you know, it's very real, and I'm at the point where, I don't want to fool myself, in that I've, suffer from anxiety, learning disability at times, like certainly through first 15, 20 years of my life in terms of diagnosing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went through a phase where basically fitness and movement saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was in my 20s. And I sort of, as I reflect on that as a professional now, as someone who's been through it a little bit, and I don't speak for everybody, but there is a common thread.
Mm-hmm.
And with my background in health psychology and kinesiology, I certainly, as a coach for a little while now,
Mm-hmm.
I can conservatively say, people experience anxiety. People don't talk about it.
Right.
And we have pressure. There's a great deal of pressure. You know what it's like to be a teenager and a young adult, to perform the level that maybe your parents or your peers kind of expect you to, or socioeconomics at home, whether it's in schools, in our community. There's different levels, and you touched on anxiety, depression. What are the things that people are? Yeah, I wanted to talk about trauma too, because that might come up later in the discussion. Anyway, just bottom line is it's become really personal. And to be truthful, in the first 12 years of running this event, it was focused on a different cause.
Okay.
So last year was my moment where I said, you know what? Giving back is part of who I am, but now it's personal.
Okay.
So that's where it really has started.
So when you started this 14 years ago, what was the premise? What was the reason that you got out and said, okay, I have to give something back? Because in order for you to really, first off, you have to step out of your comfort zone to be able to do this. Then you have to network. Then you have to write the ideas down, meet with the people, put this thing together, put probably your own money into it. Talk to me about what made you decide to get up one day and go, I'm going to do this.
Well, I don't mean to be cliche, but it's kind of a calling for me. It's in my heart, in my soul, if you will. Working 9 to 5, working behind a desk, that's not where it begins and ends.
So why don't you just push the desk away and work without it? Everything would have been fixed, no?
Well, that's we should have spoken a while ago.
Yeah.
But there's you want some soulful fulfillment in terms of feeling like you're giving back, making a difference, creating a spark for people. And I brought a couple of things for the two of you tonight that I want to reference in terms of spark and,
I was wondering what those were doing there. I was going to say,
so actually, I'm going to use that analogy for something else. So remember this spark situation where we're going to be talking about the information. I know how excited you are to talk about Israel and all the stuff that I bring to the table, because your face says it all, all excitement all over. You'd rather do the cha-cha, as opposed to talking about anything mucha important.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're going to get back into it. Don't worry, I'll slowly bring you in. I'll slowly bring you in.
That's okay.
All right, so you decided to go out.
I know that people enjoy the looks on my faces because they feel me.
Well, and I'm sure that there are those that are here to listen specifically to that, right?
So I'm listening to.
Well, there we go. Well, listen, maybe you'll learn something, right? It's a good thing. Talk to me a little bit about, though, you said that it was more that it came from you, that you felt that you wanted to do it. There are many people out there who have amazing ideas and say, listen, I really want to help. And then all these ideas are amazing, and they stay on the couch where they came up with those ideas, and they never ended up getting out and doing anything. Like even this show. This was an idea for many, many years, and then one day I just said, I have to do this, and I'm just doing it. So tell me what was the factor that made you get up, go out and do? Was there something specific? Was it a conversation? Again, I want to hear your story, not put things in your mouth.
Well, I think that one thing we have in common for sure is this burning passion to pursue your passion. And so in 2005, after working and being in the field for a while, but also kind of being a bit all over the place, I said to myself, I'm going to plug my nose and dive into the deep end of the unknown, and that was to really put myself out there, heart and soul.
Diamonds are made under pressure, right? So.
Oh, yes. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so, yeah, in 2005, that's when Spring into Action started, and that's when Inside Out started as well.
So I saw that you had like Inside Out, and I've been seeing it,
Sure.
but I connected with like Inside Film Festival, which is LGBTQ, Two Spirits, whatever it is. I don't know the other terms that are out there, but it's a gay festival.
True Spirit.
Yeah, it's a new thing right now. Yeah, it is.
Wow, I need to like.
I think it's a cult
refresh the
Yeah.
LGBT.
There's more. There are more.
There's a few other letters now.
There's a few other. Listen, it's everybody wants to feel like they're belonging.
Everyone belongs. It's just I can't remember everyone.
So Inside Out, well, it's important for them. It doesn't have to be
Well-
that important for you.
Well, with a
It's
diet like
important.
this, then
It's very
This is
important.
definitely not a
I'm not
diet.
saying it's not. I'm just saying I don't know them, so that's why I'm like I gotta refresh it to get myself up to date.
Definitely, just hit refresh on the on,
So
on,
it's
on the
like
gay.
George Carlin said, someone give me a manual once a year and I'll update myself. Like, you know, what they do in doctor school. You have to refresh it once a year.
I actually think it's a great
Yes.
idea that we should all do that. Like new
Yeah.
words, new lingos. This is how parents can be cool again.
No, that's not what I
no?
meant.
No,
For the parents to be.
Why?
cool.
I think it's
Saying,
great if you know
so
what's
that you
what's
don't offend
what's hip.
someone. Someone needs to make a book once a year, go through that book, update
You're
ourselves.
You're
and
gonna
then the
offend. You're gonna
following year-
offend people by not being offended or by not offending them. That's just the reality of life. But I want to talk in. We're kind of drifting off the Inside Out. So when I saw the name, it just sparked something else, and I had no idea that it had anything to do with mental health or had anything to do with like a runathon. Like it just didn't speak to me.
Mhm.
What made you want to come out with Inside Out? Is there a specific reason behind it? Like maybe there's something that connects to Inside Out. I know I asked you this in the pre-production, but
yeah, well, from a lifestyle point of view, our outlook and perspective on life is really shaped by our habits and behaviors, and feeling good from.
inside and out.
okay.
And so, to look at achieving a goal over 6 months or 30 days or starting on a Monday, it doesn't matter if fundamentally we're not moved internally to affect some of the behavioral and habitual changes. And also kind of what's your calling and what's your passion. That's from the inside out as well. So the sense of empowerment and feeling good about who you are, not comparing yourself to anyone else, because life is,
Being
we're conditioned in
fulfilled with
society to be about shoulds. So, and we wonder why there isn't this sense of fulfillment so often. Maybe the paycheck has got an extra zero beside it, but because you live in a bigger house, it has a couple more rooms, does not make you a person that is, free of mental health issues.
No, of course not. But it might relieve the stress of, bills and having to live paycheck to paycheck. It might relieve that sort of tension,
Not to diminish that.
That might help for them, but at the same time, I understand exactly what you're saying. The money can't solve all your problems, kind of basic scenario.
Wanted to see like if people are going to be writing because there are people will be writing fruit. There you have Sean.
Hi, baby.
So what I want to know is go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to touch on the irony of social media with the topic of mental health. Because we know if we're following the leading researchers and what's being spoken about addiction right now and that connection to mental health and screen time, not to get too serious right away, but if we get to the heart of the matter, you're going to go Facebook, you're going to go on Snapchat, whatever it is that, obviously Instagram and so forth, you're going to get on your screen and you're going to get into the rabbit hole. It's like, why did I come on my phone again 78 minutes ago?
Right.
I can't remember.
Well, now it's Instagram actually recently came out with this pilot project that they're testing out on us Canadians, where you don't see the numbers of likes that picture or that
That's
video
a great
has.
idea.
So you can look at it and it'll be up to you if you want to like it or not based off of the numbers that actual picture has. So you'll see, like, if someone's on your list, you'll see that they liked it, but you won't actually see the number saying, 4 million likes or 5 million likes or 4 likes or 3 likes. It could be like...
That's a great idea. Is that why you think people are looking at stuff based on just the likes or something that appeals to them?
Of course, doing it basically based on the likes. It's like a monkey see, monkey do scenario.
Okay.
People are losing their own individuality by wanting to be included within everything that they do, and they feel that if they like this picture, someone will see and they'll be like, oh, this person liked this picture too, and blah blah blah. We have that in common. It's people are literally losing their own individuality, where free thought's no longer theirs. It's like they're forced to like something based on what other people are doing.
And it's become out of control. The media today, social media, it's everywhere to influence and to persuade. And also on a biochemical level, I'm now at 4 likes. Let me check in 30 seconds and see if I get another like or another 10.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And we're in the business of this. I mean, we're in the business of the likes. We're in the business of people watching.
well, is it social media for the good or?
But that's the thing. Like everything, I'll tell you, like not a story, but we'll get into it. Television raised me and my sister, or my sister and I. Right? Television raised us. My parents worked 2 jobs, and we had television. Like you can ask me anything you want from the 80s and 90s in terms of television. I can tell you any show, the character names. We literally can go through it. Today, I know nothing about it. I'm completely not involved, but I could tell you different articles, where they came from, who are the writers. I have now a new interest, but it kind of started from young. And I remember, like in school, they had this thing where how many hours a day are you watching television? And my mom, I remember I had to ask my mom, do I tell them the truth? Because literally our TV was on the whole time.
Yeah.
So you would think that we're not doing homework, we're watching television, but television was also a way for us to get educated. We learned about Canadian culture, American culture. We learned about
Well, I learned how to speak English.
speaking English with television. So
Yeah.
if these things are used properly, the social media stuff is used properly, then it could become something very positive.
Yeah.
The problem is there's just so much information out there that you have no idea what is truth,
Well,
what
there's
isn't,
a
what
lot
is
of
real, what is education.
disinformation
Oh yeah,
out there,
and
so-
that is a part of the conversation I'll have later, which is about how there are things on the internet and some things you have no idea where they really came from, what is their core, and nobody has the time to sit there and really do the research for every piece that's out there. And what the reason I'm saying this is, if you were to say that these kids are actually on the internet learning stuff like watching Animal Planet or whatnot, then that wouldn't be an issue. If it's they're sitting there for 76 minutes getting something informational, educational,
Yes.
then it's great. But they're clearly not there. They're there to see like kids on skateboards, break their hands. They're there to see like really ridiculous things
That'd be cool to see.
really.
Yeah.
I hate to see that stuff.
I went to a school this week, and there's a program that they have. They have 2 wellness rooms, which is a real cutting-edge, visionary principle that they have. Who's someone that I've known for many years, and I went to see what he was doing, and we had talked a few years earlier, and it's the first time I'd actually seen what he had done, and he created a bicycle studio with a workout
Oh yeah,
space.
I saw this thing. Yes.
And then there's also another room with just mats. And so basically what I witnessed there, and this is in a troubled area of the GTA, and basically these kids, they were hyper and laser focused on the instructor as I observed the class live. And what was really cool is they had these spin bikes, the regular adult size, but then for kids, and I had never seen the kid size, you pull off the handle and you put a desk on top of where the handle goes. It fits right in there, and you can put your textbook right on top. It's like a stand-up desk.
Very cool.
So you can bike while you're doing whatever you need to do.
So you're channeling your energy and your mindset in a meaningful way.
When I was a kid, my mom, I remember being outside so much. My mom would yell, "What are you always outside for? Come back indoors!"
too.
And today, kids are
You
not
can't
outside.
push them
It's
outside.
I went to a restaurant maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was lunchtime, and I think there were about 8 kids sitting together. I swear to you. They were all on their phones. The only interaction they had is when they were sharing the video that was really cool. But all of them, there was 0 interaction. And the only interaction was about something else that was happening somewhere else. And I thought that was clearly it speaks to the times, but if they think that it's not them or their parents, don't think that it's affecting these kids, there's no way. So in my opinion, mental health issues
Now,
are
to
going
me,
to grow based on...
here's a thing that I'm thinking of. You're saying mental health issues are going to grow. When do you give a child a smartphone? When are you okay? When is it okay to? And how do you think your child feels when they're the only kid in the school not having a smartphone? What is that going to do to them and that mental health?
So the schools,
capacity?
the schools
It's
themselves.
like you can't win. It's like you damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
That's a great point.
You get them a phone, they're gonna, you have no idea what the fuck they're doing on it.
But you
and
touched
if you
something.
don't get them a phone,
Leanna, you touched on something that is very important. Today, like I don't know if you remember, there was an article that was about the jackets. You know, the goose. What do you call it? Canada Goose. And like the poor kids could not afford to buy it, so
they're saying
they banned. So they're like, yeah, you can't bring it to school. Like really, it's just, I get it. The status thing, I kind of understand it, but at the end of the day, it's still a jacket. Here we're talking about like
so you're
smartphone.
making me get another fucking jacket for my kids, spend more money.
Right. Well, if these people can afford to buy these jackets, they can afford to buy a $40 jacket. I don't think that's really the issue.
No, not necessarily.
I get the idea.
Some people, like some parents, spend a year saving for their kids, saying, "I'll get you that jacket next year if you do well in school." Like, what about those parents?
But
like,
it's
everywhere.
understandable. But that's like very minute. I don't think many parents would say there. Oh, now I have to buy my kid another jacket.
Yeah, but it's not even that. Like, it is. Some parents are going to say, "Now I have to buy my kid another jacket."
But then another parent will say, "Oh, I have to buy my kid another phone."
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
well,
like it's got.
I understand that, but like, why are we allowing these people to have that kind of say? It's like this trophy, like participation trophy culture's got out of hand.
Okay, so
it's completely.
So you're actually going against what I'm about to say, because I'm saying if the school gets so involved in what they wear, why couldn't the school get involved in terms of the smartphones? Because when is the smartphone really being used? Smartphones being used in school. The other times that the smartphone, now the parents are there to deal with them. They have their laptop that they can always get access to. They have the TV. But at school is where I see, like it's like I run certain classes where like I could see them underneath the table, like looking at something. If the minute, like I say, there's a break, they don't care that there's, about the bathroom. They don't care about drinking. They care about that stuff after the break. Then they'll say, oh, sir, can I go to the bathroom? It's like, you had 15 minutes to go to the bathroom. What were you doing this entire time? But I'm saying as the school, like we should tell people, put your phones away. There is no emergency. You give the parents the number to the teacher, and the teacher can have the phone. But the idea behind like kids playing with a smartphone, I think it's a horrible idea unless you're incorporating the educational aspect, or since we're noticing that there's a lot of problems with the smartphones in terms of people just using it for no reason, then the phone companies themselves should come up with certain apps that disable certain things during like the day. So the parents have
school system should come up with an app saying every student that's within this class, they have a login. They log into their classroom or their schools, and during school hours, that phone is disabled for the use of, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is until break time. Then it's it's opened up again, and then during classroom hours, it's the only numbers that can reach that phone are like the mother or the father. They'll have like their top 5 phone numbers that can reach them at that time. There's always ways around it. Like we live in a technology-filled society where everything is possible. Like for freak's sakes, you can get into your goddamn phone with your eyeball at this point. I'm pretty sure they can create an app saying when you can turn your phone on.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that out there, but I think it starts with the parents really understanding what these phones are doing to their kids. Like they're thinking they're giving them access. And I remember back in the day when kids were getting flip phones, and I thought that was weird because I got a flip phone when I was like in my 20s. And here
I got my own phone. Like I paid for everything
12-year-olds who have these 12-year-olds who have like cell phones. I'm like, what do you need a cell phone for? Like, you have to call my mommy. It's like really, like she doesn't know where you're at all time. So
I'm gonna give my kid my 8190 Nokia as a first phone.
I don't think that he's going to
battery life is amazing on that sucker. They can't tell me the battery died.
Oh, you could throw that thing against the wall and nothing's going to happen. The wall may break. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah, being a visionary and helping prevent addiction and a downward spiral, and we've seen the worst of it, right? Without saying how much darkness there is, you can kind of fill in the blank. It can really escalate, and it's again about the habits. And I think if you have a day like a Sunday, for instance, today you're 8 hours, no phone. Okay, you're going to connect. You're going to go out and play. You're going to ride your bike. You're going to go for a walk through the park. You're going to be a little bit more mindful. You're going to be more present.
Yeah.
Because
so you're saying connecting exercise and then taking away that component, that they have the need to be on their phones. here they're out, they're breathing, they're having a good time, and they're exercising. So
Well,
getting their
even
mental
being
health in shape.
social in person,
Right.
without the phone.
Right, but let's talk about those that, you know, for example, like I said, I grew up with television, but I was definitely outside a lot too. And our generation didn't have the whole computer, you know, I remember learning computers in like maybe grade 12. So what is it that we can do to fix, I don't know, again, I'm really asking you, but like what is it we can do to fix other issues of mental health that are not just relating to the social media? Because clearly social, you know, the social aspect, you know, is a problem, but I think there is more to it. Example, you mentioned something before about the anxiety, so I'm going to kind of get into it.
Sure.
Like, I think everybody, in some ways, has anxiety about stuff, right? Because you're always worried about the future. You're worried about your test. You know, the minute I say so in my school, the minute I say the word quiz or test, you should see the faces on these kids, right? Right away, anxiety. But some people have real anxiety. You could see it. It's like, hey, all you need to do is write your name on this. Don't freak out. Everything is good. It's easy. You know it. It's ABC. You know how to do it. But something about them. So what is it that we can do to work with, you know, the new generation to try to help them to be able to say, hey, it's okay. Like I remember when I was a kid, there were, especially in the Asian community, people were committing suicide in universities.
Yeah,
Like the pressures. They weren't getting the A+. Exactly. And I was like, you lost your kid.
I remember that.
You lost your kid. Like how like as a parent, how much pressure did you put on this kid that like now he's gone? Like everything you spent this entire 19 years of growing this kid up, giving him everything, every opportunity, and now he's gone. Now these parents, I mean, I hate to say it, have to take some blame about this because of how they dealt with it. It's a little sad to say, but what can we do to maybe release those tensions? Maybe like, you know, I think that social part plays into depression, right? Because if you're depressed, you need people around you. Anxiety, you need to have people that can calm you down. Even my sister's telling me, Ron, I see how you are sometimes. You have to add like yoga and meditation into your life on a regular basis. And like only now am I really realizing how important these things are.
Yeah.
So what is that you feel we should be doing?
Yeah, well, I want to respond to a couple things
Sure.
there. Firstly, when it comes to those tragedies, we never know the full story.
Right.
So, you know, there's biochemistry there. There's different depths and layers of things that can go wrong, sadly, in those situations. So we can you know, hypothesize what, you know, led to that. And preventative work is critical. No judgment and safe space. Those are two powerful phrases and ways to create a healthier community. As I said in this first step, brave step video of mine with sharing is, it was just important for me to share that message, is that, you know, comparing yourself on social media, you know, feeling threatened, feeling bullied, in ways to prevent, how can we do that in a healthy way? I think to feel mentally, physically, emotionally well is to not feel threatened, not feel triggered, because we all have our triggers. So this boy or girl you're describing to write in an age, I think that's what you were saying.
Right. Yeah.
You know, is like, for you and I, it's not a big deal, but you know, we can't begin to imagine what somebody else is going through in almost every way. And so I think that's good. And one other key phrase.
But regarding that, I don't want people to be babied. I think, like, you know, like we're already a society where everything, you know, we're trying to protect everyone from everything.
Right.
That's not really where I'm going.
Yes.
Because look, like, because you it's funny, you threw something like the word bully. You know, I mean, every kid at some point is going to have some sort of bully. The bully could be an aggressive one, meaning physical, and the one could be abusive. But it happens all the time.
And the statistics show that we are bullied, and we are the bully.
But it's always going to be there. Like, again, you're looking at somebody the way they grew up, and you know the parents are not really there for them. So you know, like I remember, and I'm going to share something very personal, and you know it's a little tough to talk about, but I'll say it very, very quickly. When I moved here, I was very upset at my parents for taking me to Canada, and like I was rebelling
Where did
against
you move
them.
from?
From Israel. So I came here at age 10, and it was kind of like, why am I here learning a new language? I have to change my name. I have to now be the older brother in the house to take care of my sister. You know, at 10 years old, I had to walk my sister to school and make sure to take her back and make sure she's eating, make sure I brush her hair, make sure I babysit her on the weekends so my parents could go out. There were all these pressures, and I remember like I acted violently towards my sister because I blamed her. I couldn't hit my folks, because of what I was feeling. And like I used to literally take it, like she was the reason that on Saturday night I was stuck without being with my friends. She was the reason that I can go to the park because I had to be in charge of her. They put me in that situation. So meaning we all have our difficulties. But if I had someone to talk to about these issues, that look, what does a child go through when they move into a new country? What does a child go through when they're learning a new language? My sister admitted to me the other day that she couldn't read until she was in 4th grade. Just the idea that we lived in the same house. I knew she was dealing with stuff because clearly, like every time I asked her to read me something, she didn't. But like, how did the school not notice that she wasn't able to do it? How was there no one walking in and saying, hey, you know what? Like, there's a serious problem that's more than just reading. Reading is just an aspect of it. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we cannot bubble wrap everything. We cannot just say, let's eliminate, because problems will happen, and we become stronger through them. Like, I became stronger while I, dealt with the whole mental health issue, because I was looking for solutions of getting out of it and becoming a better person. But at the same time, I felt like it was good that I went through some of these things. I wish I would have known what tools I could use, if I was feeling upset, to breathe. You know what? You're really angry? Yeah. Take this 30 seconds, just breathe. And it sounds silly, but boy, does that help. Just take that time, take yourself out. Think about the outcome of what could happen. Whereas, like, as a kid, the outcome is whatever the outcome is going to be. So, meaning, what is it that you think we could possibly do to not eliminate the problems? The problems will be there, but to deal with them on an easier basis.
Well, that's a big thing with kids today, and for us as grown adults as well, is that for us to self-regulate and to know these tools and tips to call upon when we need it, so we can get some self-control back. Because the problem is, when we're feeling triggered, that's where we're going to lose it on our sibling, our closest friend, our son, our daughter, because this is not about just strictly the kid's perspective.
Right.
The parents have an enormous job and responsibility here, that they're going to carry so much shame with them. So I think that it's so key to learn how to take a breath. And it sounds so ridiculous to say.
Right.
Like, we take 8,000 or so breaths a day.
Right.
So what do you mean you're telling me to take?
Yeah.
Well, taking deep, mindful, long, flowing breaths into your belly, and then pausing,
right,
and then releasing, and just having that kind of visual that goes with it too. That imagine you're breathing in something. Spring.
Positive.
You're breathing in spring. You're pausing.
See,
you're breathing out tension.
Whenever, like, my significant other has, like, when we're expressing ourselves, let's just say that, just to deflect, I usually just look at him and I go, out with the bad, in with the good, out with the, and it sounds weird.
Does he actually go?
No, like it's like a funny thing, right? It's like you in with the good, out with the bad. So like you breathe in goodness and you exhale like all that negativity that's within you, that goodness is cleansing out of you. You know what I mean? So excuse me, I understand exactly what you're saying in that regard. So,
are we trying to always fix things? I feel like we're always trying to fix, and that's kind of like it's been my thing. Even with the mental health thing, like we're always trying to fix something, as opposed to just be aware that it's there. Like I almost want to say, like, we got to stop with the word fixing. We have to start with the word like just overcoming, or whatever it is, whatever's coming to mind. I'll tell you why. Because when I'm thinking about fixing, then it said, I know it's cold. That there is an act, that there's something to really fix. But like you're driving your car, and I'm a really angry driver, and I drive calmly until the next car is next to me. But like the idea behind it is like taking myself out. Like I'm still angry about the other drivers, but it's about how I deal with it. So like if I see a stupid car now, like, or someone that's going crazy, I slow down and I let the idiot just drive away. And back in the day, I'd be behind that idiot, following him all the way to wherever it is, just so I could show him the finger, tell him something. Really, like I have total road rage. There's no question about that.
You would literally physically go out of your way to follow that person?
When you're saying really, that means it's happened actually many a times before, but not just following, but like, a little. I never really got into a fist fight because of stuff, but like, yes, I've got into situations. But it's because I wasn't able to control how I was feeling. to someone, just to put it out there, I started driving when I was 28 years old, and there's a reason for that, and it's due to my anxiety that I started later, because I never felt safe on the road. I felt like here's this 2-ton thing that's moving at 60 kilometers per hour. That if it touches me, I'm dead. So meaning any point in time, right, I could die. So now I felt I'm in this box, and I'm controlled by. I don't have the control, right? I can control driving, but I can't control what other people are doing. So the defense mechanism came about. It's like, you stupid SOB. You try to like cut me off. I could have gotten into an accident.
In that regard, there's a reason why we go from 0 to
taking a breath in a moment like that would be.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, or dealing with it differently.
There's a reason why you go to 0 to 1,000 in that regard, because your mental state goes to that exact place. This is like a 14-ton machine sometimes.
Right.
You are literally trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So your mind is literally going to that exact place that person almost killed you.
Yeah.
And that person, that's why your rage is so deep, because you feel like they literally almost killed you.
Yeah.
They could have, they didn't have a gun to your head, but they might as well have had a gun to your head or just shanked you in the kidney.
Right, but it's even something more. Like, let's pretend like I got into an accident a month ago, and like somebody hit me, and they started to come out of the car and freak out and yell and all that, and like they hit me, and they come out of the car and started to yell, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm good. Like, my health is fine. But now I'm thinking about the finances. How am I going to deal with this? Now I have to like go and deal with the insurance company and go to the police and and get a quote and have people coming in and and that started giving me anxiety. But the minute I stopped and I said, I'm okay. Like, everything is fine. Like, it's good. It's just a car. At the end of the day, it's just money. I automatically calm down. Yeah. But if I'm saying like the word fix, which we talked about before, it's like, how do I fix this from never happening again? But it can't. I'm on the road all day, every day. It's going to bound to happen. It's just really how we deal with things. So what I'm saying is, rather than like using those words, let's fix these issues, let's just have, let's add something new where it'll be, okay, here's another tool. Breathe. Meditate at that point in time. Take yourself out. Rethink. Tell a different story. My dad was in the hospital the other day. Thank God he's doing wonderful. I love you, Dad. He was in the hospital, and I was worried every time there was a phone call or something, or if my sister would make a face, or we were up north dealing with a cottage. So I didn't know what was going on, but like I said, just everything is fine. I just kept going. So I wasn't worried the entire time. It literally was a mindset. But I have to be honest with you. This thing would have happened to me 3 years ago, I may have had a heart attack. Like getting that phone call that my dad's like now in the hospital with blood pressure 220. Like I would have lost it. But having those tools help me now. Can I control the situation? No. I can only control how I feel and how I take it.
How you react.
Not even the reaction to it, but like how I proact. So what I'm saying is, if we started taking that word fixing and start saying like, okay, I have extra tools, then it's no longer just about the fix, it's about how to overcome the challenges that we will face. Because right now in Israel and Gaza, like they're dealing with rockets coming down on them. That's the reality. It doesn't matter what you say. Now these people, mental health issues for sure from all these people, worried about going outside. But then it's a mindset. I have my cousin, funny enough, I'm going to call her out, kind of. She was taking pictures with her feet out. She has this thing where she takes every picture with her feet and whatever the nature is. And then we see like the rockets in the air. And then the next picture she has is of her eating sushi. And here we're sitting here like, are you crazy? Like, go into a bunker. Like, what are you doing? She's like, it's the reality here. Like, I want sushi. So like, right, we can't. So there's certain things we cannot change.
Yes.
So we have to know. Change our outlooks. Just change our outlook on life, and not to put all these, these pressures. People in Africa have pressures, real pressures. Where am I going to get my next food from? I'm going to die.
Am I going to have clean water?
Yeah.
The difficulty as humans is stages of change. Is realizing that we can change our perspective and we can access tools and tips to help with breaths or taking back some control. And being ready to make that change and to grow, because we're, by nature, instinctively, we're resistant to change.
Right.
We don't like it to get out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes we're forced to do that. Like you at 10 years old, coming to another country.
Yeah.
But now your perspective is, look how much you've experienced, that you can teach the rest of us.
100%.
You know, and
Well, you're talking about change, and now I'm sitting here with a sombrero around my head going, am I culturally appropriating Mexico?
What do you mean?
With
What?
a sombrero on my head.
Well, listen, at the end of the day,
That is what I'm trying to like
well,
think of.
I think they're more upset
at
over the
this
fact that we
point.
have Taco Bell and we calling it that Mexican food.
No, I didn't say it was Mexican food. It's a taco.
Well, no, but it is a Mexican restaurant. I mean, that's,
No, it's not.
no, it is. It's the whole point of it.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It's,
Don't tell Mexicans that Taco Bell
That's
is
a different
Mexican
story.
restaurant.
You'd be surprised. When I lived in LA, there were actually plenty of Mexicans eating at Taco Bell and
No,
Del
I
Taco.
believe it because, well, I have never tried Del Taco, but I'm sure Del Taco is superior to Taco
It
Bell.
is actually not.
Really?
Yeah, they're all awful. I mean, but don't get me wrong. There's certain things on the menu
You
that are
took
great.
it off? Did I make you
I
nervous?
couldn't deal
Did I make you
anymore.
nervous?
I do appreciate the playful props. And it's like we're talking about serious stuff, and I'm looking at us in the monitor. I'm like,
Yeah, I really.
we're like the party people.
But that's the cool part about this. You know what? Why don't we kind of step away from it? Let's do a little bit of a challenge.
You
You
wanna
know,
do the
I see you're
taco?
looking at the tacos every now and again.
Because I'm like $30 of tacos, and now they're
and we really
cold.
appreciate it, by the way. Thank you
They're
very much
cold.
for.
That's what I'm like.
I'm okay with cold tacos, just like
Where are
cold
your
pizza.
tacos?
Yeah. I know you're a health freak. If I could say that.
I don't know about
okay?
the health part, but maybe a freak, yes.
Can I? Are you okay to eat some tacos with us?
Oh, let's do it. I
I'm
do
gonna
it.
put some fire
I do
sauce.
it annually.
It's not a taco without the fire sauce.
So with her, it's always with hot stuff. So I figured, you know what, this is a perfect day to have something spicy. Do you still think
I should
can't
mention
handle
that
spicy, or
Is this
it a
okay
sweating?
to eat if you're gluten, dairy, lactose, wheat,
100%.
sugar?
This is actually not good if you have a stomach. Like, no, literally. I think it has like a note here.
Free,
Do not eat.
vegan, vegetarian, grade A dog.
Are we going with? Are we going to talk about the sauces? Are we going with the sauces?
I'm putting fire.
Okay, so there's
Fire
hot,
and
there's
everything.
fire. Where's mild? Nice, good. That was a joke. 'Cause
That was a
we-
trick question.
Yeah, and here we have our famous hot sauces that Ophir never ended up trying because he's chicken. Hopefully he's going to come on the show and just
those
eat
are
the spice of
the
it.
famous
The famous hot sauces.
In that case, let me put them.
Are you going to put it on?
Well, I just put 2 fire sauces.
So just
And
like
then I'll put-
no, you're exaggerating. Oh, you're exaggerating.
Hot and fire.
Do I need to do the same thing?
Yeah.
I need to
I'm
do
gonna put
everything
both
you're
of them.
doing?
Yeah.
No, you're insane.
Yeah.
You're just killing it completely. Like it's just going to taste
Good.
awful. I want to enjoy the
I
taco.
feel so weak all of a sudden.
Do it.
Okay, I'm gonna take the hot stuff. Okay,
That's
because
it.
that's the stuff we really brought.
Okay.
All right. Let's just ruin my meal. All right. Okay. Can I eat it like this? Would this be all right by you?
No, you gotta put the
But why
other
are you
one
gonna?
too.
But you're gonna
I
completely
feel
ruin
like
it.
I'm on a real
You
talk
got
show
it. You
now.
got it. No, you got it. No.
No, why?
Do it. It's not real unless you do it.
It's not real unless I do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
See, our guest is doing it.
well,
Barry's doing it. You got to do it
you
too.
got it. You got it. All
Try
right.
this
So
at home or don't try this at home.
No, you got to try it at home.
this is to
To Winterfell.
to the Mexicans out there. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Living
I
in
don't
Los
think they
Angeles.
even celebrate.
Oh yes, they. Oh my
it.
God, do they not?
No, but in Mexico.
Oh yeah. Positive. Oh yeah,
Really?
100%. When I was living in Los Angeles, like Cinco de Mayo was like the holiday.
All right.
I lived on Santa Monica, and like they had like a parade or something out there. It was amazing.
Stop deflecting.
You can
Love
take
it.
more than one bite, just so you know.
No, you have to finish the whole thing.
You have to finish the whole
You have to
thing.
finish the whole thing.
All right, ready?
Cheers, guys.
L'chaim. Let's do this. You are awful.
Oh my goodness.
You're awful. This is horrid. How much did you put?
Delicious.
You were crazy. There's nothing. I never got heartburn that fast. Okay. Okay, I cannot eat this anymore. The challenge.
Good
I
thing
lost this
lined
challenge.
my stomach before
My
coming.
stomach is killing me. Ooh, especially last few days, like I gotta eat something else. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Solid.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got love in my tummy.
This is very spicy. Really? Are you actually enjoying it?
Here, Ron, I
Yeah.
need your water bottle because I want to give you your first gift here.
Oh, thank you.
I know that's we can balance.
Okay, so you wanted me to put this in here?
Yeah, there you go. That's for you.
My mouth is burning. That's You put a lot there, sweetheart. I mean, good for you. Good for you. I guess you can handle spice a little bit better than I could.
And Leanne, I didn't forget you. This is for you.
Thank you.
Oh, very nice.
You can
Very nice. Thank you very
not
much.
any leftovers in this trusty bag.
Not gonna be any leftovers.
While we're doing this, the show still needs to go on. Good for you, by the way. That's really great. That's pretty spicy. Let's talk a little bit about different topics that are happening around. Actually, before we do that, why don't you tell us about what you have going on? Because I see that you have the pamphlets there. So here's an opportunity for you to do a plug. You can do it at the end too. I see CAMH. I see Spring to Action. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
They're not going to see the
here.
green too well because of the green screen, but
Oh, okay.
it might be all right.
Well, maybe in front of us. So
I
I
make sure I don't have anything in my teeth.
you know, it's our 14th year, but I'm proud to say that this flyer, although creased a little bit, and sorry about that.
We would have had a JPEG if Anthony would have been
Oh,
here.
okay.
But unfortunately, so.
Actually,
Okay.
Roxanne is the producer of this beautiful piece, which I'm proud of.
Roxanne!
And I just want to point out a couple of the words, the kind of mindful words in the hearts. And we've been talking about them, and I want to. So there's five words. Yeah, my math is correct. So we have breathe, we have heal, we have grow. No, sorry, grow. It's hard doing it backwards. Grow, laugh,
Yep.
and let go. Let go. I think that's when I sit down to try to practice some mindfulness or meditation. For me, the most powerful thing is to take a breath and just say to myself, "Let go."
And if you have some hot sauce before you meditate, it'll make it a lot easier for you to breathe.
You're a champion. I have to tell you, I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Because like I was really
I
struggling
want
with this.
more.
You want more with the hot stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Well, it is
So,
actually
yeah,
super
the event
Delicious.
is, as you mentioned, Saturday, May 25th, and people can go online and be a part of it. We've got a wonderful gratitude garden that we're featuring this year. So everyone's going to get a leaf or a heart to put on our tree with a word that they're given, or they can write their own word. Family, dog, community, mom.
So how much money do you usually raise for this, or what do people usually
When
donate?
do you start?
How does give us just the works on, because clearly you have something that's annual. The 25th is a big day. It's probably the last Sunday of that month. So
Last
the
Saturday.
weather is beautiful.
Weekend, right?
Yeah, it's May 2
No,
weekend.
it's actually
Oh, the way after.
it's after
Weekend
the
after.
last
Yeah, May
weekend of
24 this
Saturday,
year,
so
yeah.
it's not the long weekend.
Nice.
People may actually be in town.
Okay. Well, I had a situation last year, but go ahead.
What were you asking me?
No. So talk about how it like when do people register? How they can donate? Like everything related
Thank
to.
you. Yeah. So if you go to the link, I think we have the link.
Link is right there.
Yeah, right underneath you.
Thank you. So if you go to the link, that'll direct you to. Well, you get the background on the event, which includes what our goal is to raise $25,000, and that'll go to research for youth mental health at CAMH, is the Center for Addiction Mental Health.
Amazing.
And
It's on
at the
Washington and
event,
Queen, in case you guys don't know.
Ossington and Queen, absolutely.
So there are two of them, but yes.
Well, the main
Yeah.
one.
Actually, there used to be a third one, the Dawnwoods, which was at Brentcliffe and Eglinton, which
Oh, it's
is
on
not
the
far
outs-
from.
There's one on College too, isn't there? Isn't there one like on College? I'm almost positive. There's like a big building on College and one in Queen. No?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Correct.
So Gratitude Garden, and you can donate, you can register, you can even volunteer. So there's a lot of kids out there that are looking for community hours right
Right.
now, and so today we went out on bikes and did the route because we've got 4 guys, Tim, Sam, Eric, and Tyler, doing a great job as leaders and mentees, like to take other leaders under their wing. So it's just like the community concept of it. I'm very proud of to see people grow and have a lovely experience. And exciting news, Noah. I just found this out before coming on the show, Ron. I was telling you. So Noah, who is an amazing recording artist from Toronto, who, like you, spent time in California recently, is going to be performing at our event. And she was on CTV's The Launch this
Very nice.
year. And she's got a link online too, and we're going to be promoting, and Noah's going to,
Perform?
she's very, pardon me?
She's gonna perform?
Noah's performing.
What is she? So she's a singer and she's going to be doing like
She does,
a show or like a song. What is the?
She's going to do a set. She's a she plays guitar and she sings beautifully, and she covers a lot of like pop songs that are out today. And hopefully, I'm not doing any disservice with the way I'm characterizing it.
Right.
But
No, you're just giving away your age by saying pop. That's all. That's
I
all
guess
it is.
so. Yeah.
Guys, you've killed me. Like,
Really?
yeah, like
I'm
my
about
mouth
to
is
go down
my
for
mouth is
another.
okay, but like I'm worried
Here,
about stepping
I'll
in.
even make it a little better.
We're enabling.
I gotta be honest with you. Like, I love challenges, but like the way you're going at this, I'm proud of you. Like,
Can
It's-
we can say a happy thought about the Raptors?
what?
Do we want to say a happy thought about
did
the
they win?
Did they win?
The Raptors pulled it out.
Oh, really?
Shut up! Pulled it out
I
of
did
who?
not.
Did they get
I
chlamydia
did not watch.
after? No.
For sure,
I
they're in
didn't see that part of
Philadelphia.
the show.
All right, so today is it's
Cinco
also
de Mayo.
World Laughter Day. So
Oh.
that's good. You were just doing that.
Oh,
So I don't know.
that's why I didn't wear any makeup today, guys, so you can laugh away.
Should we just
I've been
do
laughing
some,
this entire time. Sorry?
laughing?
I don't know.
Just,
Do you have a joke? is there, do you want to do a joking?
just the idea of that. Oh!
Knock knock.
Do you know that there? Okay, well, speaking of mental health, let's bring this in.
Biochemistry.
There are people who actually believe that,
Brain?
like, you have to, like, if you want to get out of a bad situation, force yourself to laugh. And if you do that for, I don't know, a specific amount of time, I don't know what the numbers are.
It's 60
but
seconds.
Then after that, you automatically start to feel better.
I want to be the color of my shirt, so I'm going to eat more and laugh more.
Yeah, okay, well, you know what? Since you guys are eating, I have to do the same. But I have all the spice here, but you're a champ.
I put more spice in this one than the last.
Let me tell you, like,
Friends let other friends eat spicy food.
right, I let you. I definitely let you.
My asshole's gonna hate
So
it.
it's also Hug a Shed Day and take a selfie.
I got a shed.
Yeah, so closest thing to a shed is you. So I was waiting for that joke for a while. But who comes up with this stuff? Like a shed? Hug a shed and take a selfie? Is there like a committee that sits there and goes, yeah, that's going to be a thing. Like literally, it's Hug a Shed Day.
But why a shed?
I would hug a shed. I
I
was
don't know.
in BC, and there's a bar right next to all the eagles. It's the largest concentration of eagles in Squamish, BC. And you just watch the river flow by and all the eagles, and the place is called the Shed. So
Okay,
you
so
can send a check in the mail.
So you're making the connection between the two.
I don't know.
Well,
Shed,
the only
that's
thing
what
I'm
I
thinking
think
of is,
is
like,
Shed.
Woodstock and all the sheds that people were puking in, so maybe that's the hugging that they were doing.
Maybe. Wouldn't they have the toilet as opposed to
Yeah.
just a shed?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's also International Hoagie Day.
Hoagie.
Hoagie, like the sandwich. I know it's not
Oh.
there. It's not there. Right? I didn't write that, but
Hoagie?
I remember that
I've
it is.
never had a hoagie.
Oh, you like
what
hoagies?
goes, what goes in a hoagie?
I think it's just a sandwich. I think it's just like the way
Let me look it up.
I think it's the way that the sandwich is. It has to be in a bun. I believe it's meat and cheese together. I do believe that's what it is, but could be
Hey
wrong.
Google, what's a hoagie?
Great. We're doing it live, and we're gonna find out from Google right now.
It's a
Submarine
submarine
sandwich.
sandwich,
There you go.
Italian type sandwich.
Yeah. Once again, it's cheese and meats together. So now, are you guys ready to go into, that type of territory where I get to talk a little
Well,
bit about politics?
you don't got long because I just ate Taco Bell.
Okay, so let's keep it in. So this is for you guys out there. So those that are tuning in right now, so first off, it was Holocaust Memorial Day, Remembrance Day, just the other day, and
Why do I feel like every weekend it's Holocaust Remembrance?
it is not. There's not, but
It is.
let's not go crazy. But yes, there's definitely different times. It is not. It is not. It happens around the fall time and around now. It is also going to be May 9th, which is Victory Day and Israel's Independence Day. So they're trying to combine everything at the same time. So I'm a big advocate. People know activist, to call it what you want. But I have my way of doing things, and the reason I have my way of doing things is because I think a little bit outside the box in terms of the way I advocate, because I already have the information, and I don't need to go out and, how do I say this, try to be something. I already am. I have it in me. We talked about the spark before. So what I try to do is I try to ignite the spark. I had the spark in me a long, long time ago, and it started with my grandparents telling me the story about how they survived in their life. And living in Israel, you know a lot about it. And with the whole mantra of never again. I lived with the never again and doing everything possible. It wasn't until my college years that I really became a big advocate, and it's not just for the Holocaust, but it's Israel, it's everything around me, because I realized that you can love and use the word peace on a regular basis, you can be the nicest person, but you just can't run away from realities. The reality is right now, or the numbers came out the other day. By the way, if you ever want to know what statistics about any research that they do, it comes out, I believe, the last week of April. So meaning like how the economy's doing, and let's just say statistics about how we see like the best city in the world, all that. So the statistics came out, and it said that anti-Semitism hasn't been this high since the 1930s.
Wow.
And there's something to be said about that. And you could say, well, let's blame Israel. Well, let's blame the Jewish community. Oh, let's blame it. We're always putting blame. But the bottom line is, what are we doing as a Jewish community to combat that? So what I decided to do is, I usually post stuff and I post comments, and here I didn't post any comments. All I said was, I believe it was, never forget the 6 million Jews. But in there, I decided to create a little collage of pictures. So I'm going to be honest, about a few things. Usually when I put something, I don't put people in it. I feel that it does take away. But I've been seeing a lot of buildings, pictures from like Auschwitz, just to see the entry, putting things, maybe in an oven. But as strong as they are, I don't think that they really relate to the average person out there, or the person that doesn't have that connection. It doesn't mean much. And if you start to put pictures that are a little bit more provocative, then maybe people will start to pay attention to it and talk about it. I made one mistake, and it's not really a mistake, but I'll explain.
What'd you do?
I was looking through pictures online, and I wanted to put the best pictures that I felt really spoke to me.
Okay.
And I saw these very, very thin children, naked, clearly, because they would. It was a way to humiliate them. My reasoning for putting them on is not to humiliate the kids, but to show these were the realities of the Holocaust. So for me to just show a building and to show some, a place with ashes, it doesn't have the same impact. And I wanted people to really feel. But then I chose another picture, which at the time when I first found it, I had no idea that it was some sort of meme, apparently. Remember we talked before about doing the research on the internet?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you see a picture and it stands out to you or something, and you're going, I feel for this picture. It says a lot to me. And the picture was, when I looked at it, it looked like a person who was a model during like the Holocaust. And she had sort of like Miss Auschwitz 1943.
No fucking way.
And the reason I put that up is because I wanted people to understand we could not have a normal life during that time period. This is what our people endured during that time. And I left that as the middle picture among everything else.
Yeah.
And I wanted people to start talking about it. Now the problem was that it wasn't like, people weren't really fixating on just the picture. They were fixating on the fact that it was used as a meme for anorexia, for something else. And I had no idea the background of the picture, but it looked like something that represented something that I felt inside. This would be a great way to really bring the Holocaust and to put it in your face.
Okay.
I didn't try to be really you want to see the picture?
No.
I didn't really want to be. So the idea behind it, I didn't really want to be provocative to a point where I alienate people. However, the responses that I got were outrageous, to a point where I was called an anti-Semite. Like, that's ridiculous, and to a point where people online are defending me by saying, "No, Ron's not anti-Semite. He does a lot for the community." F that.
What?
It's got nothing to do with it. Read between the lines. And by the way, the problem is when you hate something, you're gonna write, right? Like for example, you've been to a restaurant that you didn't like. The likelihood you're gonna write something about it if you're that type of person.
Yeah.
If you like something, the likelihood of you really going online and writing, slim to none. I was getting a lot of responses from people saying thank you. Actually, that picture really made me think. That picture that I put up was shared more than this video has ever been shared. Okay? There were people that it was talking to. But some people made it seem like as if I was trying to make a mockery. And then I realized everybody has an opinion.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, it started off with, okay, this picture is taken from somewhere else and I don't like it, to don't put naked children on a picture because if I'm a parent and I wouldn't want to see my children there. Even though The goal was to show what's happening in the Holocaust.
Okay.
The goal was, yeah, there it is. So there's the picture. Unfortunately, I can't pull that up. I can't put it online right now. Maybe you could actually. You could put it up. Yeah, and this is the picture.
We will never forget.
Yeah, we will never forget.
Sachet.
Sorry?
It says
The sachet.
Miss Auschwitz.
Miss Auschwitz,
Auschwitz.
1943. Again,
Yeah, 43.
I knew this thing was going to create, some conversation. But to a point where to go out and to call me an anti-Semite, to say that what I was doing is wrong, and how could I? Guys, this is my way of expressing myself. This is my way of advocating. You don't agree with it? Totally all right. I may not agree with your way of advocacy. I'm going out there. You want to have dialogue? Not a problem. There were people who were like being really rude, like really saying some nasty things, and I didn't want to go back at it. So I told them thank you very much for their opinion, really appreciate it. But really in my mind, I'm like, But you're seeing some of the comments. So I understand where
I see
people.
where they're coming from, right?
No, but there's
it's hard to look at the actual pictures.
Hello, Holocaust. Are we talking about the same thing here? Hard to look at? Today when we were doing an event for kids where we were showing videos of the Germans marching through the streets, breaking glass and trying to murder Jews and whatnot. Yes, this is the reality. And if this is what's going to get people to understand it's a situation, there are people today, 60% of the population, like Jewish population, do not know anything about the Holocaust. Do not care. The reason I mentioned the spark with you is because every time I decide to do something that's Israel Jewish related, I'm thinking, well, here's a fellow Jew that's sitting next to me.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is going to be something that she's going to care about because she's affected by it.
Yeah.
But in her mind, I don't live this life, Ron. I live a totally different life.
It's not even that I don't live this life, Ron. It's just, for me, it's the reason that I came to do this show is something to bring happiness and bring lightheartedness into people's lives. And just these kind of topics are not, it's not that they're not interesting to me. I don't want to be like bringing something that to me is not high octave. It's more of a low octave situation, whereas I want to bring positivity into the world. Yes, there's activism.
How do you? So what is the? And so it's funny because we're talking about the prickly pear.
Yeah.
Can you move back a bit? So just so we're talking about like the prickly pear, and the idea of the prickly pear is, which is what an Israeli really is, right? So it's prickly on the outside, sweet on the inside. In order for us to get to the sweetness, we have to go through the bitterness.
Yeah.
In order for you to get to this marathon and to get the money and get involved, there had to have been something that went awry in your life to be able to go out and do this and to be passionate about it. I truly believe that if we did not go through the Holocaust, we would not go through the situations that we're going through now. You wouldn't see the same person. You would see me just doing other stuff. When I started as a filmmaker, I did romance films. Like I have literally, like if you see the stuff I first did, comedy, romance films, I had to become the advocate. I had to become that activist because people were sleeping, standing up. Things were happening. I remember going to York University and seeing the hatred that was going on in Very Hall, which is a place where people came to have dialogue, right? And the Jewish crowd would sit there quietly in the corner and just take it. And the reality is, we are no longer these Jewish people who sat back and let the world waited for the world to come and save them. We are now here for ourselves. We need to advocate. And if I need to slap you across the face in order for you to realize that, that's what I gotta do. Because I want to make sure you're waking up. So if it's a picture that's offending you, please. You want to talk to me about, where the picture came from, the research, and look, I can admit, yes, I did not know that it came from a specific place that was in. By the way, I still don't know. I'm just taking somebody's word for it. I didn't do the research when it came to it because I knew I wanted to stand behind the picture because I knew what that picture meant to me. Even today, I received a message from someone saying, this is something that really touched me, made me think. The point is, there are certain types of advocacies where your advocacy is like, let's do lighthearted stuff, which is fantastic. But the hard stuff is really what makes people think. And I'm all about the subjects. I'm all about delving into it. I don't mind getting dirty because for me, what's going to come out of it is going to be much greater than if I ignored it. So this photograph, again, it was a part of a big collage, was there to educate people. So if you feel that it didn't speak to you, that's okay. I'm sure some of your photos are not. You want to keep having pictures of buildings and you think that there's some effect? Fine. I believe that these buildings don't really speak to people. And I believe that once you create, maybe you do anger somebody. That's perfectly right. Today, we're going to get into what's happening in Israel. There's the Hamas, the terrorist organization, and Islamic Jihad decided to rain rockets but we're talking about Remembrance Day. We're talking about Israel's Independence Day. Can you imagine if we did this to them out of nowhere during Ramadan? The world would freak out. The news would be all over the place. But the reality is, there's 500 rockets that are going to work. Now, before it was like, hitting specific spots. It wasn't killing anyone. But how many of our people need to die in order for us to wake up and say, look, we got a serious situation on our hands. We have to fight back. This is no longer Nazi Germany where we don't have an army. No longer are we going to stay there and just like look pretty and walk like sheep into the gas chambers. That's not going to happen anymore. And you know what? In order for us to deal with the problem, we have to deal with the problem. That's just how it is. We talked before about, bullies, right? Look, I don't think I was a bully. Maybe some people may think of me as a bully, but I don't think I was a bully because I never really had anything against anyone. I never took money from people or anything of the sort. But I do remember beating up bullies and standing up to bullies. And the reason I did that is because of that mindset. And I became, I don't know if to say a better person because of it, but I never sat back and allowed someone to take advantage of me or take advantage of those that were close to me. And I remember like in school, when somebody picked on me, I had that mindset where, no, that's not going to happen. If I would tell a principal, back in those days, what would happen? You're a snitch. You would say, I would take care of those problems myself. Now, was it always a positive encounter? No. Clearly, when you're getting into violence, in high school, whatnot, you're bound to get in trouble. But guess what? My mental health wasn't great because I knew that I was standing up for myself, and I knew that's the best that I can do. And if I put the best thing out there, which is exactly what I try to do with this picture, is to put my very best out there to try and educate. So again, to you guys out there who believe that what I was trying to do was, trying to hurt my own community, making fun of the Holocaust. I mean, it's almost like mind-boggling, but everybody has an opinion like assholes. Well, then I guess you know who you guys are out there writing stuff. Yes, I could say it.
That's his opinion.
That's my opinion, absolutely. And again,
and Lior,
totally.
I agree with you in the last comment that you made.
What did you write?
He's like, it's pretty obvious there were never any beauty pageants for Jews in the concentration
Well, yes,
camp.
clearly, but it's not even just about the beauty pageants, Lior. For people to understand, it's more along the lines of like they couldn't live the regular life, and this is what I was trying to do, like trying to play on that, and how many Jewish people were mocked. During the holiday, when they were taking pictures and they were doing all these videos, what was the reason?
Well, there's cartoons also, right?
What were the? But that's the thing. Right now, the New York, what's it called? The New York Times. Was it the New York Times who produced that picture with maybe it's, I know something in New York. I can't believe I'm not. I don't think it's the New York Times, but it's the New Yorker. Could have been. One or two. Please help me out.
Magazine.
Yeah. So maybe it was. Maybe it was the New York Times. I hate the New York Times. But I don't want to hate them because I don't like them, but just based on this. But they put Trump basically being blind, and there's a hound dog, and in front is Bibi's face with a Star of David. And what's the difference between this and the type of stuff we used to see back in the days of German propaganda? Do you know what's on today in London? What they have? Israel is killing children. Have a nice day. These are posters. You're having people in London, like in the Labour Party, who are clear anti-Semites. Here in America, we have clear anti-Semites who are Jews, self-hating Jews who are in government, who are basically trying to make everybody feel good by saying, no, I'm not with these people. Calling Israel a terrorist government, a racist government. Never speaking about actual terrorism that's happened to killing their own people. How do you think people in Gaza feel who are not a part of Hamas or Islamic Jihad, Al-Aqsa Brigade, Al-Qassam, Al-Fatah? People who are not with Hezbollah, people who are not, please explain this to me. How is the world so backwards to a point where if I'm going to say something, it's going to offend people when real stuff is happening out there, no one is sharing. Those same people that were on my Facebook writing stuff, I don't see them sharing anything proactive. No advocacy. Never calling out those that are really out there creating problems. You want to have dialogue? Let's have dialogue. You want to talk? No problem. I'm not going to shut you up. I disagree with you? No problem. Agree to disagree. We have different lives. We grew up differently. I grew up with a Holocaust mentality of never again. You grew up with life is beautiful, with birds and bees and everything is great. Wonderful. I want to live in your reality, but that's not real reality. In 2005, I filmed a movie called Disengaged from Reality. Interestingly enough, talking about leaving Gaza. And my whole thing about Gaza at the time was that, hey, let's try this. Clearly we have nothing of historical significance in Gaza as Jews. Even though it belongs to us, give it to them, it's fine. No problem, here, have it, run it, no problem. What happened after? What happened after was that Hamas took over, got rid of anybody that was against them, and decided to launch wars against the state of Israel. So meaning, nothing good happened out of it. How come people are not talking about it? And I was all for leaving Gaza. The reason I was for is, okay, here's opportunity.
It's not the convenient truth, that's why people aren't talking about it.
Aha! But the problem is, as I said, a Palestinian falls down the stairs, everyone's trying to find the IDF soldier who pushed them. Right? That's this mentality. But we, as the Jewish community, including you, I believe, this is my personal opinion, need to do more. Am I having the show to be able to talk about light things? Of course, the idea behind it, that's what we have, the national whatever. That's what we're wearing, these sombreros. It's another aspect. But that is not life. Life is not about Mexican food and sombreros. Okay? There's so much more to it. And the purpose of this show is to be a little bit prickly. The purpose of this is to create that type of dialogue for people to watch in, to tune in on a regular basis, share their opinions also. I get to learn. I get to learn a little bit about you. Every guest that comes in, I get to learn something. I get to learn about, their hardships and how to overcome them. This is not just about me hosting a show, oh, this is amazing. No, I'm here to really learn. So what I'm trying to explain to people out there who are tuning in right now and saw the post and are seeing everything else I'm putting, I'm going to express my own opinions, and I don't think I'm really out there. I don't think I'm being irrational with my ideas. I'm stating facts that are on the ground. Yes, with the picture, that was a choice that I made about taking that picture.
You just didn't do your research properly.
But the problem was that people are talking about the naked kids in the picture. All of a sudden now, it's not right to put naked kids.
It was in poor taste. I could see what they're saying.
What is the poor taste? Are you guys serious with me about this? When you're saying poor taste, you're talking about the Holocaust. What are you going to do?
Okay.
Show you a Shabbat dinner when they were?
You can literally you can show the gates of Auschwitz.
Did we not talk about showing the gates of Auschwitz?
Yes.
So right now, the gates of Auschwitz.
You can show the shoes. You can show a bunch of stuff.
It doesn't speak to you. It doesn't speak to you. It doesn't say.
It speaks to certain people. You did it for the shock value, right?
Yeah.
You did it for the shock value, so it gets people talking about shock value.
It's not just the shock value. By the way, if I would have put the kids without that woman, to me that's not a shock value. That's just a picture of the realities of what went on.
Yeah.
And if we want to learn something, and we want, like right now, I have about 2,500 people on my Facebook. Hopefully some of them read this stuff. Most of them are Jewish. Most of them in my community. Hopefully this thing will go out and other people will start talking about it. Because the reality is, it's not about me. Man, I know this. I have this information. I will still be there in the battlefield. But the problem is we need to get the other people talking. And how do you get them? Here you have the victimized Palestinians who are always, they're killing us. Look, just like the sign with the children. Where's our reality? What are we talking about? What we're really going through? It's almost like we always have to have this story about David versus Goliath. And that's not the reality. And these are just stories that we put in our minds. And by the way, we're David. David is our guy. We are David.
Okay.
We're fighting.
We got to do this fast because the Taco Bell is speaking to me.
Okay. Well, this is my shtick. Anybody else mention anything? I see Lior.
No, but I don't. Oh, Yonit just wrote something. I can't read all of that.
I think part of the problem is that
my butthole can't hold it in much longer.
Okay.
And if you're gonna eat Taco Bell, make sure that you do not go see the Avengers movie, which is apparently 3 hours long. And hopefully, right now there are spoiler alerts. Yeah, fun fact. There are no spoiler alerts on Game of Thrones because once I come home, I am gonna be nowhere near social media just in case. Because tomorrow morning, that's when I'm gonna watch it. While I'm getting ready for work.
I love how we went into going to the bathroom.
Do you see how I like to deflect things?
Of course, and that's.
You see what I do?
You know, usually deflects things. You know, usually deflects things, right? Like I have kids that I teach something. Yeah. They're like, oh, by the way, yeah,
Woo,
exactly.
Squirrel.
Exactly. But anyways, we don't have to touch it because the show is not about this. But I felt Actually, people were messaging me saying, "Are you going to talk about it on the show?" And I said, "You know what? I'm going to give it a light because if this was next week, I would have never done it." But I think it is important, and I want to wake up every advocate out there, every person who doesn't even see themselves as an advocate, to go out and do your part. Share your opinion. Do something out there, because the reality is, once it's going to come, and it is coming, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it is coming, Ron.
No, it is.
Hurry the fuck up, it's coming.
No. Oh, the bathroom. God. I'm like, what are you talking? Another thing, I think it was in Philadelphia. So a school was just caught, like an Islamic school was caught praising death and like singing songs, anti-Israel songs, like in the schools. Now, this is just stuff that's coming out now, and we know a lot of these things are happening on the ground.
Well, you have to understand, a lot of these things are because of social media. These things have been going around.
Oh, you mean the reason we're seeing it?
Yeah,
oh, we're
around
seeing
the world
it
for years and years and years and years.
Yes.
Only reason people are getting like outrage cultured over it is because it's in our faces now because of social media. You're obviously like we said earlier, you're gonna get the bad news first. People are gonna write the bad things, and people are also gonna over exaggerate certain things because they're gonna want to be that person who delivers the news first. And you came to me for the news, so hopefully you'll keep coming to me. So like, share, and subscribe.
No, I'm with you on that. But again, what I'm saying, these things are. My problem is that people are blind. Now, I'm not here to have the red flag and go, "There's a war coming tomorrow." No, but
there's a war coming.
But there could be. And here's the signs of where we're going. And if we don't stop it, right? It started with Kristallnacht, right? It started the Holocaust in '33. With the brown jackets and how it began, the war and against the Jews didn't happen until way later. You're talking about them conquering 1939, like Poland, right? But before that, we knew things were happening. People were leaving. Einstein was already living here, right? The St. Louis...
Einstein lived in Toronto?
Here in North America. But yes, no, he actually lived in, believe it or not, in New Jersey. He was in Princeton, New Jersey.
All right.
Anyways, you were going to say something.
Social media, I think, to Leanne's point, to put things on balance, is we can't have misrepresentation of things as well, and propaganda, as you said. And I just, like a personal share, I've been to visit Israel twice, and it's just like such, we all know, a powerful experience, whether you're Jewish or you're not, of any particular faith, just the history there, of course. In, I think it was 2016, I was in Poland, and I was on a tour for a few days, and it wasn't really part of the program. It was an optional to go to the concentration camps, to Birkenau and Auschwitz, and I was just sort of sitting back and to see, like, the group was going to decide what to do that day, and we're on the bus and going to various places, and I knew in my mind that I wanted to get there.
Yeah.
And I was very curious if this was something of sort of global interest. And there wasn't a single person that did not want to go there.
Right.
So to me, that's something in terms of humanity. And, it's unspeakable, but we do try to talk about the circumstances which are unimaginable, inhumane, and atrocities on humankind. And whatever your creed, I think there's a lesson here that, we've got to be educated, and we've got to have cross-cultural conversations.
Dialogue, yeah.
But we're having all that.
But you also don't. You can't forget that. Go for it.
No, I'm saying we have all that. It's just, we live in this world where two wrongs don't make a right. And if you live that way, then you're a complete moron. If you live in the two wrongs don't make a right. If he's trying to hurt me and I'm defending myself, no, he's wrong. I'm defending myself. There you go. I'm right, he's wrong. But it's not about being right. I'm defending myself literally for my life. Like, we're talking about life, not about how do you feel about this, right? It can't be just about that.
Psychiatry.
No, but the reality is it cannot. No, but that's what it is. Everyone's trying to find, like, who am I going to support today? I was going to mention another quick story with Sacha Baron Cohen.
I don't know if you can mention this quick story.
I will try my best. You can get up to go to the bathroom if you really need to.
No, I'm like shit break. I don't go anywhere but my house.
Well, excellent, Finch.
Thank you.
Sacha Baron Cohen in
I didn't
the
get that
film.
reference.
American
American
Pie.
Pie.
Oh. Sacha Baron Cohen, when he did the movie Borat, at one point he did this like running of the Jews, kind of like running of the bulls, but like.
That was fucking hilarious.
So I laughed at that because
Oh,
it was
God.
it was a very very comical, and he was speaking in Hebrew. But there were many Jewish people that were like, "Ooh, that one's taking it a little bit too far." I'm like, "Well, have you seen what Sacha Baron Cohen is
throw
doing?"
the Jew down the well, was it?
Right. But they saw that and they made, and they're like, but they said it's like, this is so ridiculous that things that could not absolutely happen. And then you mentioned, Poland. And in Poland, not long ago, I believe it was last week, it was during Easter, they dragged a dead body, like a fake religious body, down the streets, and all the kids in town were beating the living crap out of this religious Jew. You're talking about, if we don't talk about these things or highlight it, this is not about the stories that are coming out. This is ridiculous that it's happening, but guess what? All we're seeing is the action. All we're seeing is, these idiots are filming it, so we get to see it. But what are they learning? So when people were going to Auschwitz and all those places, there were certain Polish people that were throwing rocks on the buses. There were people who were yelling, "Jews, get out." What does it say? Like, here we are commemorating, now I get it. Some person said, "Well, Ron, we're on their property and they probably don't want that because that place is associated, with something that they don't truly believe in and blah, blah, blah." Guys, sorry, that happened. That's the reality. And we have to talk about it. Why? Because if we don't, history tends to repeat itself. Just like some of the people are saying, war is already here. Oh yeah, it's not the war that we think war, like World War II. But clearly a war is coming. And social media is a big part of it. It's a huge part. But now what do you have? You have someone like Zuckerberg who shuts down, right, people who have different opinions. And you're hearing all of the people who are coming in support of those individuals.
Well, to me right now, it feels like everything media related, or most of things media related, are more or less left leaning. Whereas if you're a centralized person or even a slightly right leaning person, you're always going to be clumped in with the far right, or like the outrageous right,
Sure.
or like the
Ultra.
essentially the ultra right, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Even like, certain people like, who the fuck? Joe Rogan,
Right.
we're gonna say.
Yeah.
He's a central person. If anything, he's more left-leaning, but
Sure.
everyone's calling him an alt-right type of personality, and it's just like, where the fuck are people getting this
Well, I'll
shit?
explain to you why. Because he's alt-right
Don't
about...
explain to me!
No, but he's...
Mamma mia, let me go!
He's all on... No, shin breaks. You're gonna hold this in. It's your fault for bringing tacos, and that's...
You're the
Francis-
one who told me to bring
I told you
tacos!
Cinco de Mayo. I'll bring everything else. You bring
You
the
said
tacos.
tacos, so I brought tacos.
You're getting... You're completely taking me off track.
Thank God!
All right, fine.
We love you guys.
It's just great, like when people are watching this show, they're like tucked into their sheets. So hi anyone that's like tucked into their sheets right now.
Give someone
on
a
their
touch
phones.
of it if you love them.
All right, we're not going to get into more of this, but we want to wish everybody a great mental health month. Anybody that's struggling out there, please go and get some help. We're there for you. If you want, you can get in touch with me directly. I'm around. You can find me, Ron Sharon Furman. You can message me, and if you need to talk, I'm here for you. It doesn't matter what it's about. If you just need the help, I'll do my very best to be
Yeah,
there.
call me. I'll smoke you on a doob. We can talk about it.
There you go. If you want to talk to her about doobs,
That's
there
a
you
great
go.
anxiety relief.
That's right.
Brr.
Yeah. What do you deal with? What are your dealings? Do you have dealings?
Yeah.
The bathroom.
He's
now.
sitting right next to me.
There you go. You just met him. It's so
Not
nice.
you. Him I like. I said right next. You're literally closer to me right now.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because we're doing it this.
Barry I like.
All right, so Barry, first off, if we could just finish us off, why don't you tell us
Sorry,
again
that I totally forgot.
how people can get involved with what you're doing, where they can donate, even though the information is right here at the bottom right underneath me. Why don't you tell them about the specific links for people to click on, and your matches. I've been curious about your matches the
Yeah.
entire time.
Oh, the matches.
Yes,
I
the
got-
ones
I
you're
got one
touching
right
and
now.
showing
Also,
me.
I just want to talk to you about my red jersey for a moment.
Okay,
too.
sure, please.
So, well, in keeping with our theme tonight, so Maccabi softball, I'm proud to say that I will be representing Team Canada this summer
Ooh.
in actually Mexico City.
Ooh.
So it's very fitting that it's Cinco de Mayo,
Nice.
and
Cool.
we're talking about the Pan Am Games in Mexico City.
That's
How old do you have to
very
be to
cool.
play baseball? Isn't it like
I think you have to be at least.
No, not at least. Because I was like, it's like I'm saying, like I can't play baseball anymore. Like there's no way.
Yeah,
Guys,
well,
start farting,
I'm not
it's
sure I
on
know what that
you.
means, but yeah, there's a big range, but it's yeah, so we're a
Is
tight.
your stomach hurting a little bit? Is your stomach?
I'm bloated, don't. I'm
Okay.
gonna literally, it's Taco
He's
Bell.
gonna- he's gonna-
You don't know what the
he's
fuck's
gonna-
gonna come
So
out.
blue is for you, Ron.
Oh, is
because
this like a blue pill, red pill type thing?
No.
Okay.
And
I'll
Leanne,
always
you're
take
red.
the red pill.
And so may this be your light
Oh, okay.
and your spark
Excellent.
for spring and mental well-being.
Really appreciate it. Are we gonna light it?
Well,
You
is
didn't
it
bring-
safe?
Is it safe? Yeah. I mean, she does a lot more than just lighting a match here. Don't do that. It's not the same thing.
I can do it!
No, you're just gonna rip the thing off.
Yes, and
On
since you
behalf-
mentioned it, the 14th annual Spring in Action.
Daniel,
Thank you
on
so
the-
much.
Absolutely, on the 25th
We love you
of May.
guys. for
We'll see you.
watching.
We'll see you next week. We
Thank
have
you,
more
Barry,
incredible
for being
guests.
here.
Want to wish you guys
I
an
won't
amazing
be
week.
here. I know you guys are gonna miss me. It's Sean's birthday. I gotta give him some nookie.
There we go. So
Yeah,
another
nothing
week
happens.
without Liana.
No,
It's
no tacos.
It's
on
becoming
birthday.
regular.
It's the bathroom. No pooping on that day. That's for sure.
On behalf of the three of us, have yourself an amazing week, and remember,
Don't spoil Game of Thrones, bitches.
I guess that's what you need to remember.
That's-
Have a good one.
Love
So
you.
we don't have Anthony,
Thank
so
you.
unfortunately I have
Get
to go
up,
press the button.
because I can't get up until you turn this thing off. Because right now I'm so bloated. People are gonna be like, "Are you pregnant?" And I'm gonna be like, "No, guys, I'm just fat." Love you. Thanks for watching.
Sleep tight.
I'm gonna hopefully not shit myself on the way home. Oh my god. Legit, guys, I'm so bloated right now.
Letting you know that we're still on.
Are we? No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
I'm telling you we're on.
Oh, no, we're not. Why
Trust-
did you turn it off?
Trust me, we're still on.
No, we're not.
No, we are.
Why are we still on?